Hide and Seek is in Carmarthen. It's in Mansell Street in Carmarthen. So we're tucked away a little bit up a side street. We're a combination of vintage and antiques and handmade. We've got about 14, 15 makers, all of whom are local. So it's a combination of the two things, which really reflects what we are interested in. We both love the handmade, we both love antique and vintage. It's a very difficult climate for retail across the board at the moment, and I think for small independent shops it's particularly challenging. So yes, it's a challenge, but we've been very lucky. We've built up a clientele since we've started. Once people find us, they tend to come back. So it's a slow burn, but once people know who you are and where you are, they are fairly loyal. We find our customers are usually people who appreciate handmade and artisan products. They're often people who already collect antiques and vintage. They're usually into interiors. They like things that are a bit different, a little bit unusual. So we get people who are local. We also get people who are on holiday and people who've moved into the area. So a really broad range. I wouldn't say that we've got one specific type of customer. The age range is wide. It's really just people who appreciate something a little bit different. Personally, I like everything in the shop. My rule is I don't sell anything that I don't like. So everything really. I've got a particular liking for Welsh blankets. So we always have a good selection of vintage Welsh blankets or antique Welsh blankets, particularly the tapestries. We also have, one of the things that I always try to have is bake stones, which are for cooking Welsh cakes on. Again, it's a very Welsh thing. Part of my childhood and a lot of other people's childhoods as well. I love the fact that we've got a really good range of makers in here, all of whom I think are of a fantastic standard. I'm obviously got to be biased and say that my husband's Ironwork is my favourite, because otherwise he wouldn't be very happy. So at the top here we've got Peterson's Ironwork. Aaron's my husband. It's also called Ferric Fusion, which was the original name for the blacksmithing business. Aaron is one of a family of 4 blacksmiths. My father-in-law and my 2 brother-in-laws are also smiths, very well known in the area. He used to be the blacksmith in St Fagans Museum, and we still have people coming in the shop who remember seeing him in St Fagans. So there's the Ironwork, and alongside that we also run blacksmithing courses, which people can book over the counter or online. We run those every month from St Clair's. Then we have Mike Walters, who is a photographer who used to do a lot of work for the local newspaper. He gets some fantastic images of Carmarthen, and he's also got an interest in coracles. He's got a background in coracles. So a lot of his work feature the coracles on the Towie. There's candles by myself and my daughter Pearl. There's sculpture by Billy Adams, who is a Cardiff-based ceramicist, but he's moving to the area and he's got connections with the art college. Billy is internationally collected, has exhibited in America, right across Europe, very well known in the ceramics world. We have Miss Moriarty, who does quirky textile and ceramic pieces, which are they're just Miss Moriarty. They're very quirky, very unusual. She's always got witches and pirates and crows. We've got people who collect her work and regularly come in to see what's new. Very quirky, I love them. Dorian Spencer Davis, who's well known in the art field locally and nationally. So we've got his traditional work, which people are used to seeing, the sort of naive pictures of Carmarthen and Carmarthen images, and we always have the Carmarthen ones in this shop. A new artist who's recently come in called William Rymnetz, who I used to work with many years ago as a nurse, who does wonderful landscapes of quite often sort of Swansea area. We have Trudi Ebsworth, who is a St Clair's based potter. Trudy's been potting for donkey's years. She won't thank me for that, she's very young. But she makes the iconic Dylan Thomas mug, which is a replica of the Dylan Thomas mug that's in the boathouse in Larne. We've got Gwilly Pottery, and I think at the moment we are the only stockists of Gwilly Pottery in Carmarthen. Gwilly is one of the oldest potteries in the locality. We have prints by Paper and Sticks of Dylan Thomas's boathouse, which were designed by an American artist, born in Wales, who lives in New York, commissioned in Swansea, of Dylan's boathouse. We've got knitwear by Judy Roberts, who quite often uses her own herd of llamas. She spins her own wool, and she sources local and natural fibres and produces beautiful knitted knitwear. Lovely feel to a lot of it. We have jewellery by Boho Jewelry, who is she's South Wales based, but we've known her for many years. She does dichroic glass and silver jewellery, and she makes all her own glass. Great milking stools by a local farmer, David Robinson, who runs an organic dairy farm just outside Carmarthen. They're all made to traditional designs using his own wood. We sell them as little wine stools because they're just the right size to put in next to your chair to put your wine glass on. So they might be milking stools, but actually they're Chardonnay stools. I never thought I would end up running a shop, but I suppose it shouldn't be that surprising. My mother was brought up in a shop, my auntie had a shop, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and in fact there's a photograph of my grandfather and my great-grandfather outside their shop, which was in the South Wales Valleys in Wattsville. They sold a whole range of things, very eclectic, from food to china, decorative interior stuff. I think apart from the food, I'm not that far off it really. So it was Pearl's health circumstances that led to us having a shop, but Pearl is actually 6 years on doing fantastically well. So this is a little independent shop poem, because obviously we're an independent shop. It's also a poem in support of the Just a Card campaign as well, who we support. We are the little guys, the independent shopkeepers, the ones who run those quirky little places. The emporiums, the cafes, the galleries, the tea rooms, florists, jewellers, the small boutiques. And you'll find us round the corners and tucked away up side streets, away from the bustling centre where the big names cluster and the rent and rates are more than we could ever muster. We cannot compete with those enormous stores with their floors and floors of merchandise and advertising hoardings that are half the size of our entire floor space. Stand in any high street, look around you. You could be in Cardiff or Basingstoke or Crewe. Same names, same stores, same packaging, same logos, selling all the same things. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking these Goliaths, for they bring people to our town, and we need a vibrant centre, or everyone will simply go elsewhere. No, we cannot compete, but we're not trying to compete, because what we have is different. What we offer is unique. This is where you'll find the handmade and the vintage, products sourced from small suppliers, often local too. And we're not driven by some computer algorithm. We are led by you. We know our customers by face and name. We probably remember what we talked about last time you came. You matter to us. And we are just like you. Most of us, we live here too. Our livelihoods depend on you. Did you know that for every £1 spent in a shop like ours, more than 60p stays locally? Shop with us and you're supporting your own community. So if you're coming into town this year, do us all a favour and take a little detour. Wander down the alleyways, the little hidden squares, take a half an hour and come and find us there. Do call in and have a chat. We like it when you stop. Have a browse, buy just a card. Support your local indie shop. Take the doors off.